Well, Bobby, there are big games, and then there's third-ranked Ohio State hosting top-ranked Texas. These two teams met a year ago in the college football playoff semifinals on the way to Ohio State winning a national title. I have been saying this is the biggest opener in the history of Ohio State football. What's bigger?
You look, maybe Notre Dame from 2022 is on that plane, but think about this. For Texas, this is a direct rematch, Dom. They haven't played anybody since Ohio State, so they're playing a non-conference foe back-to-back. Obviously, huge implications for this. Emotionally, I think if you look from a national picture, holistically, if Ohio State loses, if Texas loses, they can still get a home game. They can still get a bye. All of their goals are still out there. But if you win this game, it gives you a huge boost, I think, nationally in the perception of where you're going to go.
All right, let's break it down. We'll do some X's and O's. Obviously, Ohio State starting a rookie quarterback, Julian Sand. And, oh, yeah, Texas has got Arch Manning. Now, he does have 2 starts under his belt, been in the program 3 years. Who has the advantage there in the quarterback race?
Well, I think for a guy who's been in the program, when you start looking at Arch Manning and what he's been able to do, sitting in there starting a couple games last year, he got in that game. Now, it was brief, and he got popped last year in the Cotton Bowl, I believe, by Sonny Styles, and then went out. But he's athletic, he can move around, so his knowledge of the system and just the comfortability of it. But the one thing that he doesn't have going for him is a home crowd behind him. So Julian Sand will be able to be a clean operator, hopefully, from a standpoint of you don't have to worry about procedure penalties. Your offensive line should be good. You'll be able to make checks and be able to talk to your receivers and be in a better position. So as far as pressure, probably a little more on Arch. And then Julian, first start, that's going to be big, but you do have that nice horseshoe crowd behind you.
You know, the other thing is the eyes do not lie. And when you watch Julian Sand throw the football, I mean, he zips it and he's got a quick release. With that said, I was hearing that this quarterback race was very, very tight between he and Lincoln. Ohio State, I think we can agree, their strength is with their receivers and tight ends. Best in the country. Do they have the best shot to win by throwing the football?
Well, I think you want to throw it some. But if you look at this game, especially if you look back to last year, this was basically a 21-21 game. Texas is a foot away from scoring at the end. It's not this high-scoring game in the 40s and 50s. Both of these teams have phenomenal defenses. And with that, they're very good up front. They're going to bring pressure. They're pretty good on the back end. So you don't want to expose your young quarterback, I think, the more than maybe they need to be. I don't think either coach wants to throw it more than 30 times, 35 probably max. You get in the 40s, you're going to be in a little bit of trouble. So, yeah, they're going to air it out. I think Ryan Day is going to take some shots. They will be aggressive. But I think a large portion of this is lean into the 4 returning starters on the offensive line, run the football, have some layups for him early, get the ball out of his hands quick, and allow him to have success like that.
Yeah, you want him to get in a groove. You mentioned the O-line. I would argue that these guys kind of learned under fire a year ago when they had to step up. I love this O-line, and there's some depth.
There is some depth. For the first time in a long time, Ohio State's got a lot of depth on the offensive line, and that's just not true at Ohio State. I mean, schools are struggling to find 5 across the country. Last year's injuries, no one liked him. Justin Simmons going out, obviously him blowing out his knee, that was big. You look at Seth McLaughlin blowing out his Achilles. Zen Michalski was out. I mean, they played 9 different offensive linemen at different spots. But what that did, you were able then to let those guys mature in season, Dom, through that playoff run. The Michigan game was tough, but they really galvanized after that. And you're talking about Tennessee, Oregon, Texas, Notre Dame. 4 really good defensive lines. 4 of those guys are now returning. You feel pretty good about what they're going to be able to do.
We got spoiled a year ago with Trey and Quinshon. Boy, what a 1-2 punch. The people's choice. That's what they're, James People. This guy's, I like him.
Well, he's reminiscent of another guy from Texas, a running back that we had a handful of years ago, and I believe is the all-time leading rusher in Ohio State, and J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah.
With his size, his stature, how he runs, just personality-wise, but he's a jump cut guy real quick. So everybody loves to hear that. You love to see it. You've got the contrast there with C.J. Donaldson, who's a little bit bigger, lean down, but more of a hammer guy that they'll be able to use in short yardage. And one other player that nobody's really talking about, you start talking about a guy with a famous name, Bo Jackson. If you're going to name your son Bo Jackson and he's going to play running back, better be pretty darn good. Early returns on him, I think people are very happy. But with any freshman running back, and I think even Arch can attest to this, You got to worry about ball security early on, and then making sure that you're good in the pass game and in the protection. Texas is going to be very multiple up front. They've got Cody Simmons out there who's really good, making sure that you can find him, pick him up to give your quarterback some time as well.
All right, last thing about the offense, and I want to go back to Julian saying, obviously he will make his first start. I'm sure he's 19 years old. I'm sure his head is spinning. I don't care what kind of success he had in high school. This is a different animal. You remember your first start. Playing linebacker is a little different from playing quarterback. But if you could give him any piece of advice, what would it be?
Ironically, I remember my first start was against Iowa my sophomore year. And the hardest thing is I think you want to go out there and prove that you should be the guy. And they asked Ryan Day, what advice would you give Julian Saint? Just win the game. Play within yourself. Rely on the fact that you're at Ohio State. You have great players all around you. You don't have to go win it yourself. Lean into your receivers. Make your layups. You don't have to make the great play. Just make the good play. And find a way to manufacture first downs, manufacture drives, and just stay on the field. That'll lead to points. But you don't have to do it all yourself. You don't have to be the hero. Just go out there and play your game.
All right, let's go to the other side of the ball. Defense wins championships. I know you agree with that. And you were one of the guys out front when they hired Matt Patricia. You were thrilled with the hire. I've got to know him a little bit. Wow, the football IQ of this guy is through the roof. And from all accounts that I'm getting, the players love him.
They love him because he's a great communicator. And he's a guy that if it's your idea, then it's our idea. And this defense is going to be really multiple. And I'm not sure exactly what Texas is going to prepare for. Are you going to look at stuff with him from New England? You know, stuff when he was in Detroit, Philly, like trying to figure out exactly what they're going to do is tough because he is so good, and probably his best attribute is finding a way to design his scheme around the personnel that he has. Where are you strong? Where are you weak? Where do you have depth? Where do you don't? And so they've been able to build that here through the spring, through the summer, now training camp and into this first week. They're going to be really multiple out there. They've got some versatile linebackers that allow them to do anything. With Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, and Peyton Pierce, they're tall, they're long, they can move. And with that, you can do different things with the front, different things with the coverage. So I'm really excited to get out there and see what they're going to be throwing at Texas on Saturday.
You know, I think back when you were playing linebacker and the crew we had, linebacker you, I love Sonny Styles and the group we have. These guys, they passed the look test, but you know what? Like you guys did, but you can play like you guys did.
Well, let's hope so. They got to go out there and prove it. I lamented for a long time, and I joked with James, I go, can we start getting some linebackers over 6'1"? Give me some guys that are tall, that are long, that can go rush the passer and do a lot of things. We've got the group that can do it now, and so with that gives you the versatility and the ability to get after quarterback. Play, obviously, in the pass game, too, with Sonny and his versatility coming from safety. Very exciting to see, and it's going to be a fun one. I don't think, if you're into offense, there'll be some big plays, but don't expect this to be a scoring fest. Look at those defenses to really rule the day.
You know, you mentioned Sonny. He's going to wear the block O, and you know this guy. He's this, and his daddy played here. This is a good kid.
He's a great human being. His father, I tell him, and his wife all the time. Great job raising your two boys. Him and Lorenzo both going to see extensive time out there on Saturday. And it's awesome to see when you have an Ohio guy who is highly recruited. He stays at home. He's from Central Ohio over at Pick Central, has done a great job. He's a leader on this team. He's one of the best defensive players. And then getting a chance to wear that block O as a legacy. This is the stuff that makes Ohio State special. And to see him out there, it warms my heart being a guy from the southeastern part of Columbus.
The other guy, Caleb Downs, this guy's everyone's All-American. I mean, you're glad he's in scarlet and gray, right?
You are. He probably only got one more year with him, but he is one of the most dynamic players you're going to see anywhere. With what he can do at safety, they saw early in camp, play him a little bit at nickel. They're going to move him around just because he's so smart and he can do so many things. So him and Sonny Styles, I think, are the keys, and their versatility to be able to move in and keep Manning guessing back there. If Arch can't get a beat on what's going on, that's going to obviously help that defense tremendously.
I feel good about the secondary. I feel good about the linebackers. Now, the guys up front, they lost a lot of talent, but it's like I talked to Ryan Day. They recruit very well here. It's time for the next group to step up. Can they just reload on the front? Can they get that's the best pass defense, a pass rush.
Absolutely. And so you look inside, Cade McDonald, Edric Houston slide in from end. I think you're really good there. And you're looking for that next group of guys. and a familiar name, familiar face, looking just like his dad, Will Smith Jr., out there sliding in. It's going to be a big opportunity for him. Tywan Malone, another big opportunity for him. And what they're going to do with the fronts, I'm sure they'll move it. Matt Patricia's very creative with what they do. And then they've got a plethora of ends out there. And Kenyatta Jackson and Caden Curry have waited their time, bringing in Bo Atkinson, moving down C.J. Hicks. Like, they've got guys on the perimeter that can get after it. In worst case, you can always bring Sonny and Arvell down and add them into the rush. But it's going to be a challenge against this Texas front that's really big. They like to run some counters. They'll run some zones. They like to swallow guys up. So it'll be up to this defensive line to control the game like they did last year.
Bobby, last thing, and I'm a huge fan of Ryan Day. I think he's the best coach of college football. Sark's a great guy. We're talking about two geniuses when it comes to offense, but I love something Ryan's doing. He is not backing off. I mean, you look at them winning a national title. Obviously, that's rare earth. There's only a handful of guys that ever win national titles, and he's one of them. But he is not backing up. He says, hey, we want to run it back. We want to win another. We want to be the first team in Ohio State history to win back-to-back titles, and it starts Saturday against Texas.
It does. There's been teams that have been close. Woody was close in that run in the late 70s, or late 60s, early 70s, mid-70s with Arch. They had some opportunities. Just were never able to get that second one done. Ryan trying to be the first. He's the first non-Ohio native to ever win a national championship at Ohio State. He's trying to become the first guy since Woody to win multiple national championships and the first guy ever to win back-to-back. And he's leaned all the way into that, and so is this team. And it's a wide-open field this year, so I'm excited to see what they can do.
He's the great Bobby Carpenter. Looks like he could still be playing. Keep it on 10 TV, 10 TV Plus, 97.1 The Fan for all your Buckeye coverage needs.